If you've got a dog here in Redwood City, you already know what an amazing place it is to live. But to really enjoy everything from our lively downtown to the quiet local trails, getting the right trainer is a huge help. So let's walk through how to find that perfect fit for you and your best friend. Life with a dog here really has its own pace. One minute, you could be navigating a packed sidewalk on Broadway, and the next, you're near a quiet tech campus where you need your dog to just be calm and relaxed. That kind of variety means our dogs need a specific set of skills to be comfortable. So, here's our plan. First, we'll talk about what a dog needs for life right here in our city. Then, we'll get into the different kinds of training, how to actually choose a pro, what you can expect to pay, and finally, where to go to practice all those great new skills. All right, first up, let's think specifically about your dog navigating our community. The whole idea is to have a dog that can handle everything Redwood City throws your way safely and confidently. Think about it. A really well-behaved dog here can stroll past the crowds at the farmer's market without a problem, or wait patiently while you have coffee on a dog-friendly patio. They won't get totally frazzled by the sounds and sights of the cow train. These are the real-life scenarios that good training prepares you for. Okay, next question. What kind of training are we even talking about? It's really about figuring out what your dog needs right now, whether you've got a brand new puppy or an older dog with a few quirks. If you look at what most dog owners around here are working on, it's mostly the fundamentals. You can see that basic obedience and puppy training make up a huge chunk, 70% combined. Another 20% are tackling more specific issues, like reactivity. It kind of gives you a picture of what your neighbors are likely working on too. So where does all this happen? Well, you've pretty much got two main options. In-home training is awesome because you're solving problems right where they start. The doorbell barking or pulling on the leash on your street. Group classes, on the other hand, are great for when your dog can already handle some distraction and just needs to practice being polite around other dogs and people. All right, this is a big one. With all the trainers out there, how do you actually pick a qualified professional you can trust? The very first thing you want to look for is a trainer who uses positive reinforcement. Honestly, this is the modern standard, and for good reason. It's all about rewarding good behavior to build trust and get results that actually last. It just works, and it's much better for your relationship with your dog. You've probably seen it, right? A trainer's name with a bunch of letters after it, and you wonder, what does that even mean? Well, those are professional certifications, and they can tell you a whole lot about a trainer's background. Let's just take one common example, CPDTKA. This is a really respected certification. It basically means the trainer had to pass a serious, standardized test on dog behavior, training science, and ethics. It's a pretty good sign that they've really put in the work to know their stuff. Okay, this is your homework before you hire anybody. You need to have these questions ready. Ask them straight up about their methods and their credentials, and ask how they'll tailor the training for your life in Redwood City. Of course, you'll also want to be super clear on costs, progress updates, and all that practical stuff. Now for the practical part, budgeting. Let's take a look at the typical costs for dog training right here on the peninsula for 2025. As you can see, the price really depends on what you need. A full course of puppy classes might be a couple $100s. A single private lesson usually falls somewhere between $135 and $225. And then for the more intensive options, like a package of in-home visits or a board and train, you're looking at a bigger investment, which makes sense given the local economy. So here's the thing. A session with a trainer is really just the start. The real magic happens when you take everything you've learned and start using it in the real world, right here in our neighborhoods. Now, before we talk about where to practice, here's the #1 local rule to always remember. Unless you are inside a designated, fenced-in dog park, your dog has to be on a leash that's no longer than 6 feet. That goes for downtown, sidewalks, parks, trails, everywhere. So where are the good spots to go? Well, if you're working on off-leash skills like recall, the fenced dog parks at Red Morton or Stolsaft are perfect. For practicing focus while on a leash, the trails up at Edgewood Park are great for working around other people and wildlife. And Coyote Point is fantastic for those long walks with tons of distractions. And here's one last helpful tip, especially if your dog is new to your home. It's called the 3-3-3 rule. It's just a simple way to remember a realistic timeline for their adjustment. About 3 days to just decompress, 3 weeks to learn your routine, and then a full 3 months to really feel settled. A good trainer gets this and works with that pace. At the end of the day, training is about so much more than just fixing a problem. It's about building a happier, safer, and just more fun life with your dog. A well-behaved dog makes everything better, from quiet nights at home to neighborhood walks and having friends and family over. So here's to many happy walks around town.